All right, get ready, because today we're diving deep into the world of database developers.
Exciting.
And guess what? We're going to equip you with the knowledge and strategies to totally ace your next interview.
Awesome.
We're using some seriously incredible resources from RoleCatcher today,
Oh, nice.
their career guide, and this amazing collection of interview questions they've got.
Oh, very cool.
This is like having a secret weapon going into that interview.
I love
It's
it.
like having a cheat sheet, but like way more in depth,
Way better.
much more insightful.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how much insight you can actually get from their AI.
Right?
I mean, it analyzes your answers and compares them to like the specific job requirements,
Oh, wow.
helping you tailor your responses.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so you have a maximum impact when you're interviewing.
That's right. It's like this amazing tool.
It is.
Like a personal coach,
Yeah,
but like in your pocket.
exactly.
Before we get there, we got to understand what a database developer actually does.
Yes, absolutely.
Got to understand the landscape before you can conquer it.
Of course, you have to.
Right.
Yeah, so think of a database developer as kind of like the architect and builder
Okay.
of these digital structures that house all the information companies rely on.
Right.
So they're designing, building, maintaining these databases,
Right.
making sure they are secure and efficient,
I see.
and that they really meet the specific needs of whatever organization they're working for.
So it's not just tech skills.
No.
They're also like problem solvers
Yes,
who need to see the big picture
they do.
of how data is used within a company.
Exactly. And you know, it's really cool.
What?
The RoleCatcher guide highlights this trend,
Okay.
where database developers are working increasingly with AI and machine learning
Oh, wow.
to make those database systems even smarter.
Okay, so this field is constantly changing,
It is.
evolving,
Uh-huh.
which means we really got to be on top of these interview questions.
Yes.
And speaking of which, RoleCatcher gave us 10 sample questions
Albert.
that are commonly asked in these database developer interviews.
Awesome.
So let's tackle them, huh?
Let's do it.
All right, first up is a classic.
Okay.
What experience do you have with SQL?
Right.
This might seem like a very basic question,
Yeah.
but they're asking it for a reason.
Absolutely. Yeah. They want to see how deep your understanding is of
Excellent.
SQL, and they want to know how you've actually used it.
Like practically.
Yeah, in practical situations.
So what would you recommend? Like how should someone approach this?
I would say don't just list off all the SQL keywords.
Okay.
Talk about specific projects that you've worked on,
Okay.
maybe even personal ones where you've used SQL
Interesting.
to solve a problem or achieve a goal.
I see.
Describe the types of queries that you wrote, maybe what were some of the challenges that you faced,
Okay.
and then also what were the results that you achieved.
Oh, so it's all about showing and not just telling.
Exactly, yeah. And this is where the AI from RoleCatcher is so valuable. Yeah, because it analyzes your response
Uh-huh.
and it actually compares it to the specific SQL skills
Oh, wow.
that are mentioned in that job description.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so you can really highlight the
Yeah.
most relevant experience that you have.
So helpful. It's like taking the guesswork out
It does,
of
yeah.
how to tailor your response.
Yeah, and just be ready for follow-up questions
Uh,
because the interviewer might ask you to explain a complex query
oh.
or to dive deeper into a specific SQL feature that you mentioned.
So you really got to be comfortable
You do.
talking about your experience in detail.
Yes.
Not enough to just...
Just name drop concepts.
Yeah.
You have to have the real world experience.
Right.
To back it up.
Okay, great advice. All right, so moving on to question 2.
All right.
This one is about optimization.
Okay.
How do you optimize database performance?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so this question really wants to see
Yeah.
if you understand the technical aspects of making a database.
Run smoothly and efficiently.
So it's not just about building it, but making sure it's like
Yeah, it's performing at its best.
a well-oiled machine.
Exactly. Think of it like tuning a high-performance engine.
Okay.
You need to know how all the parts work together
Right.
and how to fine-tune them for optimal output.
What are some key areas to focus on for this one?
I would say you should definitely discuss techniques like indexing,
Okay.
query optimization, database partitioning.
Okay.
These are kind of like bread and butter optimization techniques,
Oh.
but don't just mention them.
Okay.
Explain how they work and how you've used them
In the past.
in your past projects.
And maybe even mentioning like performance monitoring tools,
Yes, great point.
like showing that you're...
That you're proactive.
Yeah,
Yeah. Tools like SQL Profiler can be really helpful
for sure.
for identifying bottlenecks
I see.
and tracking how well your optimizations are actually working.
So like a follow-up question here could be, Can you give me an example of when you optimized a database?
Exactly.
And like, what was the outcome?
Yeah, so be prepared to walk through that
Yeah.
specific scenario.
Okay.
Talk about maybe what was the problem that you encountered,
Right.
what steps you took to address it,
Uh-huh.
and then what were the results.
Right.
Quantifiable results are always really helpful.
Like percentages and things like that?
Exactly, yeah. If you can say, like, I improved query performance by 50%,
Right.
that's going to have a lot more impact
Much better.
than just saying, I made it faster.
Exactly. Yeah.
And again, this is another area where RoleCatcher's AI is so valuable.
Okay. How so?
It can analyze your example
Okay.
and compare it to, like, industry benchmarks.
Interesting.
So you can really get a good understanding of
Right.
how your results compare.
Okay, question number 3.
All right.
What is your experience with NoSQL databases?
Okay, so this one's interesting because it's not just about SQL anymore. It's about showing that you understand different types of databases
Okay.
and that you can choose the right tool
Right.
for the job.
Right. So how do you approach this if you don't have direct experience?
Honesty is the best policy.
Okay.
So if you've worked with NoSQL databases, showcase your experience,
Right.
talk about projects and maybe what were the benefits of
Ugh.
using it in those situations.
Okay.
But if you haven't had hands-on experience with it, that's okay.
Okay.
But what you can do is talk about the concepts behind NoSQL databases. Talk about maybe the strengths, the weaknesses,
Right.
compared to traditional relational databases.
I see. So it's not just about the experience.
No.
But it's about showing that you're...
You're curious.
Yes.
That you're aware of the trends in the industry.
Right, exactly. And how could RoleCatcher's AI help with this question?
Yeah, the AI can actually identify which NoSQL technologies are most relevant
Wow.
for the job that you're applying for.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and then it can even suggest talking points
Okay.
that are aligned with that company's technology.
So it's almost like having a researcher
It is.
who's done all the background work for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, now just be ready for a follow-up question.
Okay.
That goes a little deeper into the differences between SQL and NoSQL.
Okay.
So something like, what are the key differences between these two types of databases?
Right.
And when would you choose one over the other?
Okay, so you got to really know when to use which one.
You do, yeah. Think about the data structure, scalability requirements,
Okay.
types of queries you'll be running,
Right.
and be prepared to explain your reasoning
Okay.
and give some examples.
Perfect.
Welcome back.
All right, we're back.
Let's jump right back into those interview questions.
Yes, let's do it.
All right, so question number 7.
Okay.
What is your experience with database security?
Oh, big one these days?
It is a hot topic, and for good reason.
Yeah,
Data breaches are happening more often.
for sure.
Companies are really looking for people who understand how to protect sensitive information.
So how do we answer this question?
Well, this question is really all about showcasing your understanding
Okay.
of like those best practices in database security.
Okay.
So this is your chance to shine.
Yeah.
You can talk about techniques like encryption,
Okay.
access control, and auditing.
Right, encryption's like that digital lock and key.
Exactly. Yeah, it scrambles that data
Yeah,
so that only people who have that decryption key can access it
makes sense.
and then access control.
Okay.
That's about setting up permissions so that you can restrict who can view, edit, or even delete data.
I see.
And then auditing is kind of like having that security camera.
Okay.
It logs all the activity
Oh.
within the database.
Oh, so you can see.
So you can track who did what and when.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a layered approach
Right, lots of different steps.
to keeping those databases safe.
Right, and don't forget those regulations. Oh,
Yeah.
fake IPA.
Yes, IPA.
GDPR, right? Yeah, those are essential
Yeah.
for handling sensitive personal data.
So it's not just the tech skills,
No.
but also understanding,
The legal side of things.
right, that compliance piece.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And, RoleCatcher suggests having a real-world example ready
Okay.
because they might ask a follow-up question.
Okay.
Like, tell me about a time you had to secure a database.
Oh, okay.
What steps did you take?
So you got to show that you've done it.
You do. Walk them through your thought process.
Okay.
What measures did you implement?
Yeah.
What were some of the challenges?
Right. Proving you can actually do it.
Exactly.
Okay. Question number 8.
All right, so this one's about database backup and recovery.
Okay. So that's like the safety net,
Exactly.
right? For databases.
Yeah, backups are your insurance policy
Right.
in case you have data loss.
Right. Which could happen for a number of reasons.
It could, yeah. Hardware failure,
Right.
human error,
For sure.
even malicious attacks.
Okay. So what should we focus on for this answer?
Well, you want to be prepared to talk about the different types of backups.
Okay.
So full incremental and transaction log backups.
Okay.
Each one has its own purpose and frequency,
I see.
and a good backup strategy uses all three.
Okay.
And you know it's not enough to just create those backups.
Right.
You need to know how to use them
Okay.
to actually restore that database if something happens.
Like a disaster.
Exactly.
So you have to actually practice restoring it.
Yes, highlight your experience with database restoration
Okay.
and emphasize that you test those backups regularly.
Right. Like a fire drill.
It is like a fire drill for your data.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah,
So being proactive is really key here.
it is.
You
Yeah.
know?
You don't want to just assume the backups are working.
Right.
You got to put into the test.
Right. Exactly.
So a follow-up question here could be,
Right.
describe a time when you had to restore a database from a backup.
Okay.
And what challenges did you face?
So again, real world examples.
Yes, showcase your experience,
Okay.
your problem-solving skills,
Uh-huh.
and how you handle those high-pressure situations.
Right. Okay.
All right, so on to question number 9.
Okay.
This one is, what is your experience with database migration?
Oh, that sounds complicated.
It can be a little bit complex.
Okay.
Essentially, it's moving a database from one environment to another.
Okay.
So this could involve upgrading to a newer version,
Okay.
maybe switching to a different platform, or
Gotcha.
moving that database to a new server or a cloud environment.
So it's like moving, but for data.
Oh,
That's a great way to think about it.
okay.
So be ready to discuss those different migration techniques.
Okay.
Like schema migration,
Uh-huh.
where you're converting the structure,
Okay.
and data migration,
Okay.
where you're transferring the data.
So you got to be adaptable in this field.
You do, yeah.
Okay.
And be ready to talk about the risks involved in migrating that database.
Okay.
How would you minimize downtime?
Ensure data integrity. Handle any potential data loss.
Right, because that's a big deal.
It is. So you want to show that you've thought about those pitfalls.
Yeah.
And you have a strategy to handle them.
Perfect.
So a follow-up question here could be,
Right.
what are some of the risks involved in database migration?
Okay.
And how do you mitigate those risks?
Okay, so show that you've thought it through.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. And finally, question number 10.
Okay, last one.
This is, what is your experience with database performance tuning?
So that's all about making it run smoothly.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
It's about maximizing that efficiency and speed.
I see.
So you're going to identify bottlenecks, optimize those queries,
Okay.
fine-tune those configuration settings.
So it's like a tune-up.
It is like taking your car in for a tune-up.
Okay.
Yeah. So be prepared to talk about techniques like query optimization, index optimization,
Okay.
even database partitioning.
And of course, those performance monitoring tools that we talked about,
Yes, those can be really helpful here.
right? To actually see how things are working.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a follow-up question here could be,
Right.
can you walk me through your process for troubleshooting a performance issue?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, this is where you can show off your analytical and problem-solving skills.
So like a step-by-step process.
Exactly.
Okay.
Talk about your approach
Okay.
to identifying the root cause of that problem.
Okay.
Explain the steps you would take to fix it,
Uh-huh.
and verify that the performance has improved.
So you're not just randomly trying things. You
Mm.
have a plan.
You have a method.
Okay.
And again, RoleCatcher's AI can be really helpful
Yeah.
to give you feedback on your answers
Yeah.
for all of these questions.
That's great.
Yeah, and it can help you tailor your responses.
So it's almost like having a secret weapon
It is, yeah.
in the interview.
Now, before we move on, I want to emphasize that while technical skills are super important,
Okay.
they're only part of the equation.
Right.
Soft skills are also very important.
Things like communication.
Yeah, teamwork, problem solving.
Right. You got to be able to work with others.
You do, especially as you progress in your career.
Okay.
And remember,
Yeah.
learning never stops
Right.
in this field.
Okay.
New technologies come out all the time.
So you got to be willing to constantly learn.
You do. The best database developers are the ones who
Ugh.
embrace continuous learning.
Right.
So don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone,
Yeah.
try new tools,
Right.
and keep learning.
Yeah.
Excellent advice. We'll be back with part 3.
All right. See you soon. All right. Welcome back for the final part
We're back.
of our database developer deep dive.
Yes.
I feel like we've covered so much ground already.
We have a lot of information.
We talked about the responsibilities
Mhm.
of a database developer, and then we got into
All this tough interview question.
all those tough interview questions. Exactly.
Yeah.
And we even touched on how RoleCatcher's AI tools
Yeah.
can really give you an advantage in your job search.
They can.
But now I kind of want to zoom out a bit.
Okay.
Look at the big picture.
Yeah.
what does all this mean for someone as they're trying to figure out their career
Yeah.
in the world of data?
Well, I mean, technology is constantly changing.
Right.
And the demand for skilled database developers is
Yeah.
only going to increase.
Because everyone's using data now.
Everyone is. Companies rely on it
Yeah.
to make important decisions.
So it's critical to stay ahead of the curve.
It is.
Like continuous learning is key.
It is, yeah.
Experimenting with new technology.
Absolutely.
And building a strong network.
Yes, all of those are so important.
Those are non-negotiables now.
They are.
And RoleCatcher can actually help with this.
Oh, how so?
Their Career Compass tool
Okay.
helps you identify those emerging trends
Oh, wow.
and any skill gaps that might be out there.
So it's kind of like a roadmap.
Yeah, like a roadmap for your career.
I love that.
And they have so many resources on their site.
They do.
From career guides to interview prep.
It's like a goldmine of information.
It is. It really is.
And those AI tools that can analyze your resume
Yeah.
and even your interview responses.
Give you feedback.
Yeah, give you personalized feedback.
I mean, that's invaluable.
It's incredible, yeah.
But even with all the prep in the world,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to remember
Yeah.
that a job interview is a two-way street.
That is such a good point.
Yeah.
It's so easy to just focus on impressing the interviewer.
Right, right.
But you're also interviewing them.
You are.
Yeah.
Are they asking you the right questions?
Yes. Are they interested in what you have to say?
Do their values align with yours?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to ask thoughtful questions
Right.
about the company culture, the team,
Yeah.
maybe the growth opportunities.
Right, so you're not just looking for a job. You're looking for a career.
Exactly.
So to wrap up our deep dive,
Yes.
take what you've learned today
Uh-huh.
and apply it to your own job search.
Yes. Explore the RoleCatcher platform.
Yeah.
Use those AI tools
Yes.
and network with other professionals.
Yeah. The world of data is
It's vast,
challenging.
rewarding.
It is rewarding. It really is.
With the right preparation, a willingness to learn,
Yeah.
you can have a really great career.
You can as a database developer.
Thanks for joining us today on this deep dive.
Yes. Thank you so much for listening.
We hope you found it insightful
And empowering.
and maybe even a little bit fun.
And don't forget to check out RoleCatcher's website.
Yes, tons of great resources on there.
Until next time, keep on learning
Keep diving deep.
and stay curious.
Bye.
Bye.